why most leaders focus on the wrong things. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to make steady progress year after year after year, while others stay stuck in the same place? Same effort, same intelligence, same opportunities, yet completely different results. Now, why? I believe the answer has less to do with talent and more to do with attention, because over 50 years of leading teams, building businesses, mentoring leaders, I'm watching people succeed or struggle, both. I've come to believe something very simple. You become what you consistently pay attention to. And I've learned that lesson in life and business, but also from a bow and arrow.
He's not just a coach, he's a leader of leaders. With over 50 years of real-world experience, he's helped business owners double their profits, build leaders from within, and reclaim their time.
A mentor, an author, and a chief reinvention officer who's guided thousands to lead with clarity, confidence, and impact. Please welcome Henry Chidgey.
Now, the problem is, most people spend their lives focused on things they cannot control. Things like the economy, politics, markets, competitors, employees, customers, other people's decisions. And the more attention they give those things, the more frustrated they become, because they're trying to control something that was never theirs to control. The result? Stress, distraction, poor decisions, and a constant feeling that life is happening to them instead of through them. The worst part? Many people never realize their attention is pointed at the wrong target. Now here's the good news. You don't have to control everything to change your results. You simply need to become intentional about where you place your attention, because attention influences thinking. Thinking influences decisions. Decisions influence actions. And actions influence outcomes. When you understand that, everything begins to change. It really does. Before we dive in, if you'd like help leading with more calm, clarity, and consistency, especially during difficult conversations, I put together a free gift called Get Calm, Clear Leadership in 14 Days Without Overthinking Every Hard Conversation. You can get it at go.henrychidgey.com. go.henrychidgey.com. Now let's get into it here. Years ago, I spent a lot of time shooting traditional bows, not compound bows, not bows covered with gadgets and sights, just a stick and a string, and another stick we call an arrow. I also taught this kind of archery. One of the first things I noticed was that beginners almost always looked at the wrong thing. They looked at the whole target. They looked at the whole deer, or they looked at just the antlers. They looked at the bullseye. They looked at everything. I would stop them and tell them, pick a spot, not the target, the spot, the exact place you want the arrow to land, and focus on that spot and nothing else. Everything changed when I learned that lesson. One place I learned that lesson was in California, when I was hunting out in the mountains down towards the south, chasing mule deer with a bow and arrow. And I'd spent all day on my belly crawling up where I could see through binoculars. I'd seen there were two mule deer bucks that were bedded in an area and it had low sagebrush the whole way. And so when they'd get up to eat or move around, I'd just lay down and take a little nap. And then when they'd go back down, that's when I'd get closer to them. And so I eventually got to where I was about 20 yards away from these two bucks. And they had really nice antlers. And so came the time to close the deal. The deer were up, they were looking the other way, and I got ready to take my shot. And I couldn't get my arrow hit the antlers of the deer I was trying to harvest. And it was like, well, of course, that's what I focused on, was the antlers. I wasn't picking that spot right on the shoulder where I wanted the arrow to go. So it was later I realized leadership works exactly the same way. Control yourself, influence everything else. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that life gives us very little absolute control. We can and should control ourselves. Everything else we influence. We control our attitude, our effort, our choices, our behavior, our focus. We influence, however, people, organizations, teams, customers, relationships. The moment we confuse influence with control, frustration follows. Strong leaders, wise leaders, understand the difference. I've worked with business owners who spent years trying to control employees, customers, markets, and circumstances. They were absolutely exhausted. Once they shifted their attention toward what they could control, their leadership improved, their decisions improved, and often, and most often, their businesses improved massively as well. Not because circumstances change, because focus changed. If this idea is resonating with you, make sure you grab that free leadership gift I told you about earlier. Go.henrychidgey.com. It will help you communicate more clearly, lead more confidently, and handle difficult conversations with greater consistency. Now, let's move on to my next lesson. What will success look like? One of my favorite questions has always been, what will success look like for me, for you? It's just, most people think when I ask that it's a planning question. I'm not asking it for that reason at all. Think of it as an aiming question. When you answer that question, you're identifying the spot. You're deciding where the arrow is supposed to land. Without a target, effort gets scattered. Priorities become confused. People stay busy but fail to make progress. The clearer the target, the easier it becomes to make decisions. I've also seen leaders transform organizations simply by helping their teams understand what success actually looked like. Nothing magical happened. People simply knew what they were aiming for. Clear expectations. Clarity improved performance. Performance improved results. See what is, focus on what can be. I will say it again. See what is, and then focus on what can be. This may be the most important lesson of all. Some people stare at problems, others ignore problems. Strong leaders do neither of these. Strong leaders see reality clearly. They are just consumed in understanding reality. They acknowledge the obstacles. They understand the challenges, but they choose not to focus their attention there. The archer sees the wind. The archer sees the distance. The archer sees the conditions. Then the archer focuses on the spot. Leadership works exactly the same way. See what is, focus on what can be, then execute. Take the action. And if you're tired of feeling distracted, overwhelmed, or pulled in too many directions, start by getting clear on what deserves your attention. Download my free gift. Get calm, clear leadership in 14 days without overthinking every hard conversation. The link is right below. And if you're listening to this and not watching it, go to go.henrychidgey.com. And if you'd like direct help developing stronger leaders, building more accountable teams, and creating greater clarity inside your organization, book a field-tested mentoring session at henrychidgey.com. Remember this, life gives us very little control. What it gives us is the freedom to choose where we place our attention. So don't ask, why can't I control everything around me? Ask, what am I consistently paying attention to? Because you become what you consistently pay attention to. Attention becomes direction. Direction becomes destiny. See what is, focus on what can be, lead with clarity, lead with consistency, and lead with purpose. I'll see you on the other side. Take care for now.